A very good day to all my listeners all across the globe. Welcome back to my podcast, which is George Nathaniel, and this is George Nathaniel for you. As I always do, I come back with very simple and relevant topics that relates to each one of you. Topics about experiences, topics about happiness, topics about wellness, and most importantly, topics about progress in life. Well, what is the topic that we are looking at today? Today's topic is called comforting the zone. Well, comforting the zone is different from comfort zone. Comforting the zone relates to things in life that takes course over preparation. It relates to things in life that takes course over experiences. It relates to things in life that takes course over learnings. Well, as we know, and as we've read, and as we've learned, there is a lot of wise sayings. And like I always relate to one wise saying in all my podcast. Well, we all know the best way to predict the future is to create one. And this will only happen if we live well. So, listeners, I repeat it once again. We all know the first part that the best way to predict the future is to create one. The second part is what's important. And this will only happen if we live well. Yes, it's very important to live well over learnings in life. It's very important to live well over vision in life. It's very important to live well over contributing in life. It's very important to live well over happiness in life. Happiness is not only about self happiness but also building happiness. And you live well when you have all wellness in life. Well, as we know, life teaches us a lesson every day. And what we just need to do is be attentive to encash on the learnings. Because if we encash on the learnings, then we are able to change the situations. And over a self driven course, this will help us to bring it on to our life in real time, making bigger, better results. And what we need to understand is the law of any results is adopting the best way. And the best way is all about living and learning. And there's no other way, or there's no other ideal way than living and learning. So, comforting the zone is taking obstacles as guidelines. So, if we are able to take obstacles as guidelines in comforting a zone, in learning our processes, in preparation of our processes, that actually brings us more into reality. And when we are in reality, we can use our experience, we can use our expertise, then we evolve our processes, and that leads us to better growth in life. It definitely takes a lot of efforts to grow from a start phase to a learning phase to a growth phase. But remember, it's very important to be self driven over our goals or meeting our objectives in whatever we aim to do in life. Well, comforting the zone is not being exceptional. Comforting the zone is just being ordinary, simple, and just being prepared over the course of things. It's not always possible to be 100% prepared. Life has no accuracy, no one knows. But definitely a little preparation definitely helps along the way. So when we look at our personal lives, when we look at our professional lives, or when we look at our contributions in life, what could be the key takeaways? What could be the learnings? What could be the things that can help us in comforting our zone and making our pathways a little less tougher, a little more easier, and a little more progressive? Well, comforting the zone is never very difficult. Comforting the zone is all about self driven initiatives, self driven efforts. And comforting the zone is all about an individual in himself. So I would say the three important takeaways that we need to focus around in comforting a zone is, remember, stay humble in lifestyle. Learn to live, learn, live. So if we live, we learn, and again we live, we are growing over every sphere or timelines or time zones in our life. We need to be driven over a vision. And what we need to understand is we can always make the best about the future to come. We can always plan better. We can always have better preparations. We can always dream big. Next, I say is we need to be accountable for our action. We need to accept our flaws. We need to learn. We need to grow. And most importantly, we need to move on over newer goals, newer beginnings in life. So if we stay humble, if we are self-driven, and if we are accountable, definitely we are enabling the learnings. Learning leads to better wisdom, and better wisdom leads to creating that comforting zone, making our endeavors a little more easier. In all of this course, remember, we need to be strong. We need to stay upright time and again, because it's not always about success, but it's also about a little failures that leads to bigger success. So in tough times, in challenging times, we need to be strong, we need to be upright, and we need to understand that preparations is something that will take us to the next goal. So when I relate to one of the most important lines in comforting the zone, I would say comforting the zone is trying to build the control over what we can. Try to build the control over better efforts. Try to build the control over better outcome. It's about managing our skills. It's about motivating ourselves. It's about building self-confidence. And most importantly, it's about having a balanced life. Because comforting the zone will take a lot of strength, a lot of confidence, and a lot of pride in oneself. So when we look at our future endeavors, when we look at our future goals, when we look at anything that we want to achieve in life, what we need to understand is along the pathway, what can we do over better preparations, which we can maybe term it as comforting the zones. So like I always say, we need to look after oneself. We need to be consistency in what we do, and results will definitely find its course. So comforting the zone can have a lot of key takeaways. Comforting the zone can have a lot of doables. Comforting the zone can have a lot of variations as per our individual plans, individual goals, our individual wellness in life. So it's very important for each one of us to sit down, for each one of us to analyze, and each one of us to remember that yes, we can make our lives better. We can progress to bigger goals in life. So, listeners, as you know, I always keep my podcast very simple, very generic, because each one of us have different situations. Each one of us have different goals. Each one of us have different plans with our life. But what is common in each one of us is we all look for happiness. We all look for wellness. And we all look for sharing our values in life. So I hope you like listening to my podcast. And I do have my blog website, which is called georgetaniel.net. My blog website is there. You can come in, read my blogs, which is totally different from my podcast. My podcast is available across all platforms. I'll be more than happy to come and talk about your experiences, your shares, or your values, or anything that can add to wellness, anything that can add to progress, or anything that is about sharing the good things in life. I hope you like listening to this podcast that is comforting the zone. I wish each one of you all wellness, all happiness in life. Remember, life is a journey, and preparation is very important over the course of the journey. And preparation changes from time to time. So we can't always determine the expectation. We can't always determine the outcome. But what we can do is we can always prepare. We can always work towards betterment. We can always work towards higher benchmarks in all our efforts and all our skills. So I wish each one of you all happiness, all success, and all wellness in life. Thank you so much. This is George Nathaniel.